Meet the dating strategy for women. It's the same thing as the red pill but for women. Strange ideas seem to do well on the internet, which is strange. For example, the Female Dating Strategy, FDS, was a pro-women organization that was promoted on Reddit and at its height had close to 250,000 members. As of 2023, the FDS has moved off of Reddit and onto a separate site with boards, posts, and video and audio material. What is FDS? As the name suggests, the FDS is a group for women only. Its goal is to help women avoid bad guys, low-value men, and get together with good guys, high-value men, for relationships and marriage. At first, it all sounds good, right? What could be wrong with women showing other women how to have good relationships? Well, the trouble is that even if the goal is good, the way it is carried out leaves a lot to be desired. The FDS versus the red pill. Even though the FDS isn't on Reddit anymore, I used to read some of their posts when they were. And I couldn't help but notice that men always seemed to have a deep down anger and rage that reminded me of the way red pill men talked about women. Men never seemed to be able to do anything right. Like the red pill, FDS has its language to describe people who don't follow its rules. For example, red pill would call men who do have manly traits beta, while FDS calls women who follow a guy pigs. Both the red pill and FDS make a lot of assumptions about the other gender, and it's clear that they have different rules for men and women. But don't just believe what I say. The FDS's core beliefs. We're lucky that the FDS has a guide for its followers. It has a list of 6 tenets that we can look through to figure out what the group is about and how it thinks. What it says is: 1. Be a woman of high value. A woman who doesn't plan her life around guys is a high value woman. She has a job, hobbies, and a great group of friends that meet her emotional needs, so if she lets a guy into her life, he better be great. A high-value woman also doesn't romanticize what men are really like, so she's careful around them and wants them to prove themselves to her before she gets emotionally connected. Both the FDS and the red pill have this strange need to be high value. Both groups think that if you want to find the best partner, you need to have high value traits. Your sexual market value, or SMV, is made up of things like your looks, status, job, and social skills. The higher you rank in comparison to everyone else, the better type of mate you can attract. But there are some differences in how these two groups use this high-value motto. FDS women want to be high-value to get commitment from a so-called high-value man, while red pillars want to be that high-value man to maximize the number of women they can bed without having to commit. But if they do decide to commit, it would to a woman who is the antithesis of what FDS considers a high-value woman. Meaning she should be not career-driven, submissive, and chaste, and her world should revolve around her man. Both groups also believe in biological determinism, which says that men and women are driven to act in certain ways because of traits they were born with. People often say things about what men or women are like without knowing or understanding the science behind it. When talking about gender, there are no different points of view or acceptance of different situations. But I shouldn't throw out the baby with the bathwater and say that everything said here is bad, because that's not true. I agree that everyone, not just women, should value themselves, and it's a good idea to get to know someone before getting personally connected to them. 2. If a man doesn't chase you, he doesn't like you that much. A man's job is to be the one who goes after you and tries to show you that he's the one for you. You don't have to show yourself to him as a woman. Either he appreciates you or he doesn't. The only thing you can do is work on becoming the best version of yourself. The job of a man is to. Who says so? Who gets to decide who goes after whom? Some women think that it's the man's job to do all the hard work. This is backward. I've never heard a guy say that they like chasing girls and trying to get them to like them. Most men would find it annoying, especially if they don't get much or any attention back. On top of that, this attitude will get rid of good guys who might be shy or who need time to get to know someone. Not everyone likes to come in with both barrels open. And how do FDS women think a man will know how valuable they are if they don't do anything to show it? The only good thing here is the part about working to be the best version of yourself. The rest is just garbage. It's the kind of dating advice that comes from a place of fear. By people who haven't done well in the real world and are desperate to change things to their advantage. There's nothing wrong with women going after guys. And if you like him, there's nothing wrong with showing attention even if he makes the first move. Believe me, good, honest guys will like it. 3. Most straight guys aren't right for you to date. Most of the approaches you get from men are worthless because most of them come from men who just want to use you for sex. Many guys are sex-driven, lazy, and think they deserve good things. But some men can be great boyfriends and husbands. These men know what it means to be a man and how to take care of you in every way. When I read this, I had to do a hard facepalm. I can tell that whoever wrote this either got sexually aroused by someone they liked and then got dumped, or they get all their information about guys from online conversations. Do guys want sex? Oh, yeah. But so do women. After all, sex is one of the main ways people get close to each other and build relationships. So, there is nothing wrong with wanting sex in and of itself. Are most guys only interested in sex? Not even close. Men want emotional closeness, friendship, and love just like women do. Pew Research says that both men and women want to get married, that having a happy marriage is the most important thing in their lives, and that love is a good reason to get married. So, it's not true that guys are afraid of responsibility. It's the same as if red pill men said that women only care about a man's money. Some women might think men only care about sex because men sometimes sleep with women they don't want to be with long term even though they don't want to. If FDS women wanted to blame men, they should blame them for not being honest about what they want, not because they want to get laid. I'm sure that if the right woman came along, those same guys would be ready to settle down. 4. As women, it's our job to be brutally honest when judging guys. We do neither ourselves nor the rest of humanity any good when we give guys attention when they act badly. So, don't be afraid to cut off guys who don't bring you happiness, mental security, or money. So far, every FDS belief is about what the woman gets out of the deal. I am all for having standards and checking out guys based on those standards. But if you only make demands, no man will stay with you unless he's a fool. I'm pretty sure that no self-centered woman who thinks the world should spin around her is what an FDS woman wants. Demanding things from other people that you don't have or give yourself is a recipe for failure. So, if you want happiness, mental security, and financial support, the best way to get them is to give something of similar value back. And no, looks and sex doesn't matter. 5. Don't have sex before a promise has been made or before he's shown he's worth your time. If a guy likes you and thinks you'd make a good girlfriend, he'll tell you in 2 or 3 months. If you want a reliable FWB, you should still ask him to put in some work so he can give you the respect and fun times you want. 2 to 3 months doesn't make much sense. Why not either 6 or 12? Again, this shows how little some of these FDS women understand about guys. If a guy wants to have sex with you, he will wait even if he has to have sex with other women in the meantime. When he finally gets to hit it once or twice, he can just as easily bounce. Some guys are so heartless that they will even act like they are in love with you just to get into your pants. Not even if you make him wait or demand a promise. If anything, using sex as a gift to be won or a carrot to be dangled only makes the exchanges feel more transactional and less real. Both people should be ready for a sexual encounter. That can happen on the first date or a year later. You know, this chant sounds almost like it was written for women who, whether consciously or unconsciously, think that sex is the only thing of value they can give men. So, they would rather leave that part of the relationship until the last while getting as much money, attention, free dates, etc. as they can. Because after sex, he might not have much left to keep him interested. 6. Generous guys can't be changed. Even though we think it's important for people to have jobs and make their own money, a man still must help you financially and make you feel like he can take care of you. This means not sharing the bill and not going out with guys who can't pay their way. And this is the most important part. FDS is just a way for women to find a man with money so they can take advantage of him while giving him nothing but the fact that they are women. It's pure and simple self-centeredness at its worst. This language is the opposite of what some red pill places require, which is that men should be able to use women for sex. Instead of sex, FDS tells women to use men for money. I do have to ask, though, and this is for women who agree with the idea that men should pay for everything when meeting and in relationships. How is it that women will say they are independent, have jobs, make their own money, and don't need a man, but then say men should pay for dates and everything else in a relationship? It's all over the place. No one is helped by that way of thought. It gets in the way of balance in relationships and makes some guys feel like they have the right to be in charge and have control over you. You can't have it both ways, girls. You can't be a strong, independent woman and want to be cared for at the same time. If you want to live that old way of life, you must act the same way. This means that your man will be in charge, and you will follow him. Can't we just get along? I'm all for giving people the tools they need to find better partners and have better interactions. And I'm sure that most people wouldn't have a problem with the advice given by the FDS and Red Pill if it didn't involve double standards, sexism, and misogyny. When you give advice that comes from a place of anger, It makes it hard to see the good things. Like a little bit of trash can ruin a whole glass of milk, toxic ideas in these groups ruin the overall value they may have to offer. The fact that these two groups are angry and make broad assumptions about the other gender shows me that they are not good at dating. So, the advice given will only make things worse in the long run. When bad feelings are mixed into advice, it lacks objectivity, understanding, and a balanced view. When someone is in such a state, they tend to give advice that is skewed and harsh. It makes people think that the other gender is out to get them and encourages a competitive attitude between the sexes. No matter what gender you are, being paranoid and not trusting people is not a good look. When looking for help on love and relationships, it's important to focus on sources that teach respect, kindness, and different points of view without harmful ideas like those in the red pill and FDS. You can easily tell if the information will be helpful by getting it from people or experts who have the kind of good relationships or traits you want to have. Their advice is often based on real-life experiences and can be easier to understand and more useful than the fear-mongering that is common in some online places.